Hi, this is Jeremy, and I had some thoughts I wanted to convey to you. I would just want to, since your topic was about the three versions of the singularity that might happen, I wanted to give my opinion of what I think might happen. I think that, well, first of all, for uh, the acceleration of technology to happen leading up to the singularity, what will happen is people will become more interested in building computers because, like, if you were to compare the computation of all the computers on Earth with the ratio of all the people on Earth, then it's obviously pretty low because not every person on the planet has a high-end video game machine like with Radeon and Nvidia or whatnot. So that's one of the big things that is going to happen, is that everyone is going to become even more connected than they are now, because let's say that, for example, I heard that DARPA is building a exaflop computer by the year 2018. And that's like 1,000 times faster than the petaflop computer that they have now. But they're going to make it out of GPUs, because that means that they won't have to have miles and miles of floor space for their computers to operate on. And I was just thinking that since the economy is going to advance, and with energy resources getting shorter or improving depending on the circumstances, people around the world are going to have more computers per person, just as a ratio. Maybe it start off, it's like 0.1 computers per person, but then it'll go to maybe like 1,000 computers per person, just because we'll have robots maintaining them, because we won't really need staff members to build the computers or maintain the computers. We'll just have robots that manufacture miles and miles of GPU server farms, and each person could have like maybe their own square mile of server farm of GPUs, since it'll become so cheap because the robots are maintaining them. And also, once this happens, then obviously they're going to use that those computer resources to do pretty interesting things. Like, for example, in the movie Avatar, it was almost visually realistic, except for maybe the people, because we haven't got the skin quite, the algorithms for this texture of skin quite right yet. But if we find the right algorithms, then I believe that it would probably be indistinguishable from real life. And so we probably, by maybe like 2025, each person would probably on the planet would probably have the equivalent of what DARPA is planning for 2018. And so if and you know how video games are, like the artificial intelligence doesn't have to be inside a robot. It can be in a video game character or an avatar, just like the movie Avatar, same name. So that would mean that the artificial intelligence could either could live on a server farm or be transferred to a robot, or vice versa. And so once that happens, because of parallel processing, we can either run a lot of simulated artificial intelligences, which I call virtual intelligences, at the same time, or we can run one virtual intelligence really, really fast, because we can break it up so that one neuron equals one computer chip, and therefore if it's operating at the gigahertz range, each computer chip, it would be like a billion times faster, or maybe like 10 million times faster than a normal brain cell would be. So a virtual artificial intelligence, if you divide the workload between each of the CPUs per brain cell, then you could operate artificial intelligence so quickly that it would be able to come up with multiple solutions to multiple problems if it was as intelligent as a person. So that could be a way for an intelligence explosion, because obviously we're not going to figure out how to make robots intelligent, because they break easily, and we can't experiment with them as fast as we can with video game characters in virtual reality. So to sum it up, I would say that first, each individual on the planet would probably have a dedicated 1 square mile of server farm of GPUs running maybe one AI per server farm, or multiple smaller AIs per server farm. And because for example, the main reason that people don't really, or not people, it's just that a lot more gets done when a lot more people are working on the problem, or a lot more resources are working on a specific problem. So if we had a billion square miles of computers all working to achieve a goal, that would probably lead up to a singularity beyond which we couldn't comprehend. We might even use this billion square miles, and it doesn't have to be on the planet, because the planet probably doesn't have a billion square miles. But we could either travel to the moon or travel to Jupiter and use the resources of Jupiter, or the silicon on the moon, Jupiter's probably made up mostly of carbon, so we'd probably have to make computers out of carbon on Jupiter, or in Jupiter, because it doesn't have a surface. Well, that's and so once we reach Jupiter, we'll probably need nanobots to consume the entire planet's resources, or if we want to preserve it, just for preserve part of it just for sentimental reasons, depending on your point of view. And so that's pretty much all I have to say about that. But first off, we will have lots of dedicated server farms per person, and then we'll eventually have nano-replicating robots that propagate to make carbon-based computers.